One guy that caught my eye, I got a list of guys walked during the season in college that I make. I always conform a list and then I present it to you at the end of the season. But even though the Lions not in even running back, but I do like that DJ Giddens. I don't know if you've seen him for K State.
Yeah.
Long, upright, remind me of a young Chris Johnson, man. Maybe a little bit more powerful, but that kid run along with my man from Boise State, Ashton Genty, both of those guys. But I like DJ Giddens a lot. I just want to put that out there.
For the
Continue on.
Lions?
No. I was just saying, just as a prospect.
Cause
No.
Ashton Getty, boy, he's
Genty, yeah,
woo,
he's
yeah,
something
Genty, yeah,
serious.
he's yeah.
Yeah. But man, hey, I think I was on record saying that people always want to get on me when I get stuff wrong, but I predicted I didn't think the Cowboys would score a touchdown on us, man. I just didn't see where they could hurt the Lions in any way of this game. You know what I'm saying? That whole last year uh CD Lamb with 220 yards. Not gonna happen this time, man. Not in a million years that was gonna happen again. And the Lions it showed you, and even Tom Brady even referenced it, Walt, a couple times. I know you was watching on live stream, but he referenced it 3 or 4 times that the Lions made moves in the secondary for games like this to oppose what happened to them. You know what I'm saying? And that's the only reason I give the Lions the edge right now over the Packers, the Bears, and the Vikings, because I think our defense, regardless, we'll get to Aiden Hutchinson in a minute, but regardless of what's being ran by the other team, I think we got enough guys back there, playmakers, that's ready for to any coverage that any disguise, any way you're gonna try to make us cover you, we can do that. And I think that's the difference this year, Walt. I think that, hats off to Brad Holmes for making those necessary moves, man. You know what I'm saying? Because Tom Brady said it. He says when it comes down to it, this team is going to, in the playoffs, they're going to be able to have to play man coverage. The way this season is going, the way the NFL is shaped right now,
Yeah.
if your secondary can't play man coverage, you're cooked in this league. You can't do anything
Well,
defensively. Um,
especially especially in our case now, and it's not funny at all, but it's just ironic that on a day like this,
yeah.
Jerry Jones' birthday, we
Yeah.
destroy Dallas, and then we lose one of our top 3, 4 players on the team overall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild, man. It's really
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I immediately prayers up to Aiden Hutchinson, man. You know what I'm saying? First of all, Hutch was playing his ass off. You know what I'm saying? This year. He was just on his way, man, into one of, like maybe defensive player of the year, at least honorable mention. I lead in the league in sacks. You just hate to, it just breaks your heart, man, because uh Aiden brings it every game. It's a lot of guys in the league that dogs it. And I seen a couple of them guys on the Cowboys squad today. Namely Trayvon Diggs. Told I'll get to him in a second. But it's horrible how some of these guys just don't bring it every game. Aiden Hutchinson brought it every single game. You know what I'm saying? We went to numerous games and just seen him just uh, you know, constantly uh motor running after the quarterback, triple team, double team, swing move, get up, knock down, get up, make a sack, get up, uh make a play on the run. But it just Aiden Hutchinson it was just is an outstanding player, man. You know what I'm saying? And I never thought he would become what he is, to be honest with you. But man, Aiden Hutchinson is going to be a big loss. And immediately the wheels start turning. I'll let you give your thoughts too on this, Walt. I don't want to hog all the time, but just thinking about like what does this mean for us going forward, right? I mean, obviously, next man up type thing.
Yeah.
But and for the most part, Aaron Glenn has done that. This team has preached that. You know what I'm saying? Even Tom Brady even said with Kevin Burkhardt on the broadcast, he was saying that, this team has the next man up mentality. I don't know. It's gonna be okay for the regular season, but when the chips are down and you gotta, win a playoff game, win a, go to the Super Bowl, that type of thing. I don't know, man, if we can get by without Aiden Hutchinson. And that's not my emotions talking. I just think it's gonna be okay. I mean, I think we could beat teams and still be dominant like we can, but I think a trade's gonna have to be made. I mean, and maybe we got some shows to do now about that. You know what I'm saying? And we'll get into that, later. But right now, just the initial reaction, I think we'll be fine. Initially, without like starting to get on a losing streak or anything like that. I don't think Lions fans should be able to just say, "Oh, well, now the season's over," because I already seen a couple people say that already, and even the top football guys. I keep referencing Brady because he did the game, but he was even saying that the season's not over. In fact, he even said, "I still think the Lions are the best team in the NFC," and I think today we'll talk about the game in a second. After you give your thoughts on Aiden Hutchinson, but um, I just don't think the season's over. I mean, I wouldn't go that far, you know what I'm saying? But it will be a big loss. I'm not gonna sit here and act like it's not gonna be because it is. So I'll let you take it away and then we can get into the game a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I initially I thought, okay, you know what? Next man up. Same thing you thought. Next man up. But who the hell is the next man? Like, we being honest
Yeah,
about it. We talking about a situation for us
yeah,
within our front seven. You can't name too many teams, at least contender wise, that had this happen to us the way it happened to us within the first 5 weeks of the season. We've potentially lost both of our defensive ends
yeah,
in Davenport, Hutchinson, and one of our starting linebackers in Barnes, who was also starting to flourish as a pass rusher.
yeah,
So that's 3 pass rushers we've lost potentially. Now we'll find out the full story on Aiden Hutchinson tomorrow and Tuesday or whatnot, but
yeah,
potentially we've lost 3 pass rushers in 5 weeks.
yeah.
Like this is
Tough,
something
tough.
serious, and it's maybe the thing is this: when you have injuries, a rash of injuries like this to a certain group on the team, that corresponding group has to pick up the slack, and you have to have some luck when it comes to the injuries in that area. All this means to me is that the secondary gotta stay healthy
Hmm. Yeah,
because it's gonna be
yeah,
pretty much on them to carry this football team for a while now.
yeah,
With Davenport being gone, Hutchinson being gone, Derek Barnes being gone, does James Houston, does he now by default get a role now on the team?
yeah,
I mean, you have to figure out a way to generate a pass rush now. And with this is just my initial thoughts, and we'll get into more in depth on what we think the team can do scheme wise defensively to still generate a pass rush later on this week coming up. But you still have to be able to control the interior of the defensive line
yeah,
at the line of scrimmage. You have to be able to, because if you don't have any elite guys to get after the quarterback on the
yeah.
perimeter, you better for sure damn dominate the interior.
That's
You
right.
have
That's
to.
right.
That means DJ Reader, he's gonna have to stay healthy to the best of his ability. Aleem McNeil, we're gonna need him to maybe step his game up to a whole nother level.
Yeah,
Guys like Makai Wingo,
yeah,
Levi and Wuzarike, we need those guys for one to stay healthy, but also we're gonna need those guys to say, hey, you know what? This is our time to
hmm,
show, because let's get it correct.
yeah,
All these dudes play in the NFL. They all have their own careers to think about. They're all young. They're all under 24 years old. This is their opportunity to shine.
yeah, yeah. I agree. I
We're gonna
agree.
need at least 2 people to step up. But in regards to trades, yeah, I don't know if it's gonna be an edge rusher. I don't know if they feel like it's gonna be a guy that can play a defensive tackle that has some size that can play 2, 3, or 4 tech. They may want just a pure pass rusher. They may want an undersized guy to come off the edge, someone between 6'2", 6'3", 230 to 240. But for damn sure, they need a difference maker in this front seven now, because listen, man, they poking holes in the boat.
Hmm.
You
Yeah,
can't just keep filling those holes with next man up, thinking that that's just what's going to get you by.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And like you said, all due respect to Trevor Nowaski, Ukwu, who played today from Ole Miss, which I like Ukwu, you know what I'm saying, but he's not, a guy that you're gonna, he's a rotational guy, you know what I mean? Immediately, the wheels start turning for me, and I'm looking at Hassan
What
Reddick
up,
still
Trey?
out there. Yeah, what up, Trey? And Hassan Reddick is a guy I wanted. I don't know what kind of character guy he is. We ain't got to get into it yet. Let's talk about the game. Let's get into,
Oh yeah, we got
you know what I'm
stats and
saying?
everything for y'all because
Yeah,
everybody
yeah,
loves stats.
yeah, hell yeah.
Golf was
First of
efficient
all,
again, man.
what about that? First of all, those bets this week,
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? The Jameer Gibbs and Dave Montgomery plus 300 for the first touchdown. That was like the easy. I'm mad at myself because I literally was getting ready to drop just 20 and just mess around and just, man, if you would have just dropped 20 on that, that would have been, a nice little, get, you know what I'm saying? Williams hit and Laporta hit this week. Well, all three of them hit this week. So, I
yes
mean, we did
sir.
it. We had a good run with that. So, and it was obvious that Sam Laporta is all the way healthy now. You know what I'm saying? I think the first 3 games of the season, he clearly wasn't. And then Ben Johnson even said that, he's got to, to a fault, get everybody involved, and now we seen Khalif Raymond, we seen Tim Patrick, my guy Tim
Yep.
Patrick. Remember, I was telling you, Tim Patrick he's getting more comfortable, man. The guy's got some talent. I mean, I think just if it wasn't for him getting hurt, I think he'd still be playing for the Broncos. I think after 2 years of him getting hurt, I just think they moved on, that type of thing. So it's not like he can't play anymore. It's just he was injury. So
I
hopefully
think
we
he's
caught.
he's doing what we need him to do.
Yeah, of course,
Just
of
maybe a
course.
little bit more explosive athletically, even though I think he's still coming along slowly.
Yeah,
He's not the Tim Patrick physically that I remember before the injuries started to
yeah,
really occur with him in his career. But
of
yeah,
course.
we just need somebody to be a live, responsible body out there
That
that
can.
can consistently catch footballs, man. And if we can get that from Tim Patrick, I think
Mhm.
we'll be just fine.
Yep. I like the size. I like the way he it's ironic that he caught the ball on a Warrior from former Lion who had a horrible day. I mean, he just got abused all game to me. Getting
You wanna
back,
know who else got abused all day?
who's that?
Denzel Ward yesterday for Ohio State.
Oh
I don't
yeah.
know why I thought about Denzel Ward immediately, man. When you just thought you threw the cornerback out there and you said abused, and I'm like, yeah. Oh yeah, that Denzel Ward got abused by Oregon yesterday too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when you look at this game, man, I'm just, first of all, it couldn't happen to, like you said, Jerry Jones' birthday. Just to see him in the press box getting a head beat in. It was just it was funny. It's just funny to laugh at the Cowboys. Especially the fans. They're so arrogant sometimes, and sometimes you just like, because trust me, in Alliance, we've had to earn like every fan that likes the Lions now. Trust me, it's been a long road to get most of those people back. You know what I'm saying, and even more across the country. But I think
Yeah.
now, well, you see a game like this, and we both kind of knew the Lions were going to win this game, but we just kind of thought by how much. I thought it would be a two score.
Yeah, I had 10 points.
Yeah, but
I had
I
them
had
covering the three.
yeah, it was 20. I think it was 27-13 or something. I think I had 24-13. But man, the offense looked good. I ain't got no complaints this week, man. I mean, I'm hard on my quarterbacks. I nitpick everything, but man, today was all right. You know what I'm saying? Like Eddie Murphy say in in life, and the boom boom, hey, boom boom, it was all right tonight. That's what Eddie Murphy say. It was all right up in here tonight. It was
I
all
think it
right.
was a
You know what I'm saying?
showcase, man. You and I
Yeah.
both said before we started the video that this was probably the best performance we've seen from them
Oh, yeah.
in
Yep.
regards to like 11 on 11 football. I mean, there's no such thing as the perfect football win.
Mm.
You can win 47-9, but still have 7, 8, 9 penalties. You can
Mhm.
have drop passes. You can have a dropped interception. You can have things happen. But if we're talking about over 3 seasons and 5 games,
Yeah.
this
Dominant. Yeah.
team, this is probably the best. And then to do
They
it on the road, like we beat up on Carolina last year. That wasn't really too much fun at
the
all. We did it at home
Broncos.
too. Yeah,
Remember?
but and Dallas is kind of a shell of what I'm not even gonna say. Yeah, they're kind of a
They
shell of
missing
what
some
they were.
pieces. They missing some pieces.
But
Yeah.
even when those pieces were there, they still wasn't, playing good football. That's the whole thing. I think Dallas window, because people got to remember what Dallas was when Dak first took over there. Like that was a loaded ass roster, and seemed like every 2 years, guys either retired or left free agency, got older. This is like the end of it now. Like Dak's got his second big contract.
Mhm.
Zeke is old and a shell of what he was in his prime. There's no Tyron Smith there. Now there's Terrence Steele. Like there's none of those other four Pro Bowl, All Pro linemen they had at one point in time. There's no Mari Cooper. There's no Michael Gallup. There's no Jason Witten. Like
Mhm.
they void of leadership also.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
I think that the tables have turned so heavy in the league right now that the Lions are really just walking up to teams, whether it's at Ford Field or on the road, and they throttling teams right now.
Mhm.
I don't see, and I'm not gonna go that far because I do understand it's part of the moment. We
Yeah.
just got done watching this game about
Yeah.
20,
It's
30 minutes ago,
emotional.
but
You don't want to say
I
nothing.
mean, this is a damn good football team. I thought, listen, I had 34-24.
Yeah.
I thought Dallas would score a touchdown late or whatever, a couple late touchdowns, maybe make the score a little bit closer. But to get it the way we got it today, it's very satisfying. It's very satisfying. Now losing
Yeah.
Hutch, that's a whole different show that we got
Mhm.
to jump into next week. But
Yeah.
heading into the Minnesota game, and we talked about this earlier in the week, we feel more comfortable about this team going on the road than we do at home.
Mhm. Yeah.
There's nothing, even without Aiden, there's nothing that makes me feel like we can't go to Minnesota and handle Minnesota.
Yeah, because we got the coverage. I think the coverage is funny. You mentioned that because I was thinking that too. Like, and make no mistake about it, man. I'm gonna just say this right now. I think the three best teams right now in the NFC are the Lions, the Packers, and the Vikings. And they in our division. That's what I believe, man. I know the 49ers are there. I ain't
I
just
think it's
being a homer.
obvious though. If people
I,
and that's not
I'm
just us being NFC North content creators. Like if you're being factual about it,
yeah,
those
it's
three teams are the best right now.
and the 49ers, I get it. They got a loaded roster, but
They
hey,
got cachet, but that cachet ain't
is
really cutting
dude,
it right
it's
now.
running out. It's totally running out. You got a Philly team who beat the Browns, and then they calling for Sirianni to get fired, that type of thing. Philly got a bunch of issues, I
Look at
think.
this.
And I think Washington, yeah, I had Philly winning by 10. I was like, dude, oh hell yeah, they'll beat them by more than 10 points. Hey, I guess I was wrong. But to me, I just think the line was a trade, and I think the Lions would kill Philly. I think if we play Philly, the Lions would smash them in Philly. Here, it don't even matter where they played. Packers are real though. The Packers are real as hell. I think that's the team right there. And I told Walt this. I told you, Walt. I think the teams right now that it can be. I just go and see who can beat the Lions. That's how I look at it. I think the Packers can beat the Lions. That's the only team I see. And then the Vikings, I agree with Trey. I think they will fall off. But right now, they could beat the Lions next week. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that they're the better team than the Lions, but they could go to 6-0. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say that yet. I mean, I think the Lions will give them their first loss. I mean, that's initially what I was thinking to begin with, but like I said, we got 7 days to prepare for that. But this game here, man, Brian Branch was fantastic. Oh my God,
Yes, he was.
Brian Branch is like, I don't give a damn. I do him, Kirby Joseph, Amik Robertson, Terrion Arnold, Carlton Day. That's a good mix of guys right there, man. Don't five. I don't care. Just line them guys up and play. And I think that you're gonna need that with Jordan Addison. You're gonna need it with Justin Jefferson. You're gonna need it with
That's
Aaron
what
Jones.
that does worry me about Minnesota is that
Yeah,
Minnesota isn't just a one wide receiver heavy team. Like
yeah,
they
they
never
got a
been.
good
Even
squad,
when,
man.
yeah, when
Mhm.
Justin first got there, Thielen
Yeah,
was still a pretty good player at that
yeah,
point in time. So it's not like playing against Dallas where there's just CD Lamb mainly for you coverage wise to worry about.
yeah.
With Minnesota, you got Jalen Naylor, you got Jordan Addison, and you got Justin Jefferson.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
now they don't really run the ball too much.
Yeah.
or too well. So that's another thing. Like we're gonna get into it with Minnesota later in the
Yeah.
week. Like if you don't run the football and you won't dedicate yourself to at least making us honor it, you
Yeah.
making it easier for us to play what we want to play with our safeties on the back end. And
Yes.
people can argue whether or not they think Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch are the best tandem in the league. But the thing is,
Oh man.
when you're not challenging us as a defense, run defense wise, you're enabling us to do whatever we want to do, coverage wise,
Yes.
exotic wise. Now
Yes.
we're gonna look better than what we really are in some cases because you, as an offense, you're making it easier for us to play coverages now. So no, but Branch,
Yeah.
man, Branch and Joseph at the ages they at right now,
Yeah.
them boys balling. They
Yeah.
balling, man. And like I said, with the injuries we've suffered in the front seven with Barnes and Davenport and now Aiden Hutchinson, we need our secondary to stay healthy and really carry this team. I'm
Yeah.
glad we getting turnovers too.
Yeah. And then could we maybe try to bring Chip Jack Campbell and give him some pass rush assignments? I mean, could we disguise some blitz and bring
Well,
him?
Corey,
You know what I'm saying? He yeah, Corey was right too. Corey was right. He said we was gonna beat them. We thought they would win, but you did call it. You said we were gonna beat the brakes off them boys. I remember you did say that. So yeah, and
it's
I'm
just
ready.
hard. You don't see 47-9 in the NFL game that
Yeah,
often
that's
until somebody
crazy.
didn't quit.
hmm Yeah, Trayvon Diggs was dogging it, man. Oh man, Trayvon Diggs, he ain't want no part of that game today. No part of the game for the Cowboys. And he was the one guy was saying that, if we tried to sneak one in, sideline, he could maybe take one back for a touchdown. I mean, they Lions were smart, man. They kept the ball inside. And the one beautiful pass, and Jared, give Jared Goff credit, man. I mean, he laid a couple out there. Jameson Woods ran right up underneath it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I wanted to see. The team that we seen today, ain't nobody beating the
Well,
Lions. Ain't
they're
no team in the
playing
league beating the Lions the way they played
running the
today.
ball the way they run the ball enables them to play more confident offensively. I think when you look at the Baltimore Raven game last year, you look at the Rams, not the Rams game, but the Tampa Bay game back in
Yeah.
week 2, that was a situation where they kind of tried to force it a little bit with
hmm
Goff
Yeah.
and got away from the running game. The game score wise never got away from us though, but we went away from what we were philosophy wise. Goff threw the ball 55 times. We still had an opportunity to win. That's why you and I kind of we had different viewpoints of that Tampa Bay loss. Cause I'm thinking like
hmm
we played pretty damn good. We were just 1 for 7 in the red zone.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay had no business winning that game. We should have won that game, but that was a game that even really good teams give away from time to time because sometimes you just have Sundays like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, overall, man, this team is just it's hard if you're not going to go toe to toe and dedicate yourself to running the football. That's why I agree with what Spirit of Detroit was saying. I watched one of his videos yesterday, actually his live stream yesterday, and he brought up the fact that he felt Kansas City was the only team in the league that could really go toe to toe with us. And I think for one main reason is because Andy Reid has no problem dedicating himself to running the football.
Yeah.
And when Andy does it, Andy's gonna do it out of the I form. He's gonna do it out of the pistol. He's gonna do it out of the shotgun. He's gonna do it offset. He's gonna do it off tosses, power tosses, strong tosses left, strong tosses right. Andy knows how to architect a run game,
Yeah. I think the
which
Ravens too.
is a lost art.
Yeah. Yep. I think the Ravens too. I told you like we was talking before the game.
Talk this man up.
You called me. What's up, Avery? I think that the Ravens have, I think, catapulted into that. I think this is a serious Ravens
I don't
team.
think they as good defensively this year though
Correct.
as they
But
were last year.
you may not have to be. You know what I'm saying? You may not have to be. You know what I'm saying? If they get more disciplined offensively with, they got King Henry, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's a big like Philly with Saquon. I was like, that's gonna be like sort of they mirroring what the Lions are doing, what we're doing here. But yeah, I agree with you. With Kansas City, if you want to say Baltimore's better than the Lions right now, go ahead, have at it and say it. But KC It's 5 elite teams in the NFL right now. I had Buffalo. Buffalo got to show me something tomorrow. They got to beat the Jets. I'll put them in the conversation. But like I said, the 3 teams in our division: KC, Baltimore, and then I had Buffalo. You know what I'm saying? But Buffalo got to show me something tomorrow and just bury that Jets team. But I want to see like killer instinct. Like I said, because I talked to somebody and they said, "Well, the Lions win a lot of games, but." They don't blow nobody out. They don't oppose their will. They don't do this. They don't do that. You know what I mean? And then for the most part, that's true. And say what you want, an underman Cowboys team. I think if Micah Parsons would have played, okay, let's just say we might have not got 7 points or 10. Let's just say Micah Parsons plays and is maybe 10 points. Let's give the Cowboys 10 points and give us 30, let's say the game's 37-21 or 34-20 if Marcus Parson plays. So we still would have won that game to me. So I mean, this team is real. I mean, I was waiting on a week to say it, you know what I'm saying, for once, you know what I mean? And this year, Walt, I think that the Lions full steam at 4-1, huge game against the Vikings next week. I think this is going to tell us a lot, you know. I without Aiden Hutchinson, we could still beat the Viking. I don't think they're that juggernaut of a team that everybody's suddenly saying they're so great now. They're this year's 49ers for us now. And we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I think that they are talented as hell. They can put up 34, 35, and that's just like the Seattle game. They're going to force the Lions to have to score to keep up with them. And I think that's what they got going for them. You know what I mean? Just like the Packers. So we'll see.
Yeah, so Corey Patterson says Baltimore will definitely be a problem or should be later on, especially with Henry running the way he has
Yep.
dangerously offensively.
Yep.
Yeah, but even with I still have questions about Baltimore because Baltimore is still kind of helter skelter. And that could be maybe it's not just Baltimore, maybe it's currently the state of the NFL at the moment, but Baltimore will look like world beaters against the top competition in the league, and then they'll have these oddball games. Now, even the Cincinnati game was oddball, but I just chalk that up to the fact that okay, that's Cincinnati versus Baltimore, AFC North opponents versus each other. That type of stuff happens. They just don't feel like the same Ravens from last year.
Mm-hmm.
Like that Raven team last year felt like a hammer.
Yeah.
We went to Baltimore, they hammered us. They went to San Francisco. They play at Baltimore last year, but they hammered Frisco. They
Yeah.
hammered everybody. They hammered Buffalo. They hammered everybody that they ran across. This team does not feel that same way to me. So it's like they feel pretty beatable. The only thing about Kansas City, well, there's a few things with Kansas City, but you're talking about dealing with Patrick Mahomes. I think we have enough defensively, especially in the secondary, to handle Kansas City. Honestly, to me, Kansas City, a matchup with them would ultimately come down to Dan Campbell versus Andy Reid and Ben Johnson and the defensive coordinator matchup. To me,
Mm-hmm.
that's what it would ultimately would come down to. But I think offensively, we scored too many points. So I don't think Kansas City would just play us into an ugly 19-17 game or 23-20 game the way they do a lot of their opponents, especially in the AFC.
Yeah.
Big kryptonite, I've said that for the last couple of years against Kansas City, is they haven't played a really efficient offense. That's why they keep squeaking away with those types of wins.
Yeah.
If
Correct.
they play a team that can honestly score, like Detroit can score, and then force them to open things up because they still don't really trust the wide receiver core.
Yeah.
That's why ever since Tyreek Hill left, that offense has been very tapered down.
Yeah.
Now they still won 2 Super Bowls, so you can't knock it. But that offense has not been anywhere near as explosive since Tyreek Hill left. They've been
Yeah.
trying to find that in guys like McCole Hartman, Kadarius Toney, the young dude Xavier Worthy they got from Texas this year.
Yeah. Rashay Rice got hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, they tried Marquez Valdez Scantling. Like they've been trying to, replicate that deep speed, and it just hasn't worked.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think like right now, as far as the NFC, it's obvious Detroit is the best team in the NFC. To me, it is. Even though Minnesota's undefeated, if you
Well,
just being, if you keeping it a buck,
Well,
You
we got
comparing both rosters, what teams do well, what they don't do well, the quarterback position. Goff is a level above Darnold. Now, people
yeah.
may still want to disrespect Goff and say, "Oh no, him and Darnold are in the same category," and that's purely disrespectful to Goff. For
Hmm.
everything Goff has accomplished in his career
Yeah.
with the Rams and with us so far, to say
Hmm.
him and Sam Darnold are on the same level is very disrespectful.
Yeah, even and just to your point, while you're right, yeah, I think even Joy Taylor even said the same thing. I think Joy said it last week. She said that, Jared Goff has accomplished way more than some guys that we hold such high esteem for. That he's got a way better resume than half the guys in the league that we hold at such high regard, you know what I'm saying, as far as cachet or whatever. But one thing I did notice, Walt, in the stat sheet, the Lions had one, two, three. They had five different receivers, Walt, with at least three catches. I like that a lot. You know what I'm saying? Jameson Williams, 3 catches for 76 yards and touchdown. Khalif Raymond got in the action, 4 catches, 73 yards. Tim Patrick, my guy, 3 catches, 68 yards. Sam Laporta, 1 catch for 52. And St. Brown had 4 catches, 37 yards. Jameer Gibbs, 3 catches. So spreaded the ball around, man. You know what I mean? I like what I saw. Money Montgomery, contract extension. Hey, he just showed he's worth every penny the Lions are paying him, man. The minute we got him from Chicago, I think we looked at his stats. He had a 1,000-yard season every his first 4 years in the league. He ran for 1,000 yards behind a Chicago Bears offensive line. Let's be honest, they wasn't the same Chicago Bears they are now. You know what I mean? And he was still productive. So Montgomery, 80 yards, 2 touchdowns, just constantly, man, just making believers out of everybody. I think he stirs the drink, man. I think if he don't set the tone early, and I think Goff has to shoulder a lot of the early burden of the offense. I think that's where we run into problems, man. But as long as we run that rock, dude, I think that makes everything easier, especially if we can score. If we score in the first drive or first or second drive and calm things down, dude, we good. You know what I'm saying? That's what I've come to realize. Just a couple things I just want to mention too defensively. Anzarike again did some good things out there. We seen Lee McNeil with 2 sacks. Brian Branch 2 interceptions. Kirby Joseph an interception. Terrion Arnold, I want to highlight him. Terrion Arnold again. He had an early pass interference, but hung in there, made some good
Everybody
plays.
did something today. You
Everybody
don't
and it.
find too many football games where it's like your little league where you get a star and you get a star, and like everybody did something today that impacted the game, man.
Yeah. Can we just bottle up the good Josh Pascal and just say, look, dude, can you just play like I don't understand Josh Pascal. He's the only guy who's frustrating as
I'm glad
hell.
you brought that up. 'Cause I'm gonna bring up Corey
You know what I
Patterson
mean? I
comment.
like Pascal. I do, but it's like
I
he
mean,
he'll
he's a tweener, man.
he'll have one
Guys
good
like
game.
him have his idea of a good week is all based upon what type of offensive line I'm going against. Are they a mauling offensive line? Are they a pass protection offensive line that they throw a lot? So that means I have a set of offensive linemen I have to deal with as far as pass set wise, or like what's going on for him? Because
Mhm.
I don't think he's a bad player. I think he's a guy that's just he's so much of a tweener.
Yeah.
And that was a concern with him coming out of Kentucky. Like, he's not the greatest athlete. He doesn't have the best measurables. He didn't test the best at the combine, but you
Mhm.
see some tools here and there
Yeah.
against SEC competition at Kentucky, and you wonder, okay, is he going to get any better? Personally, I don't think he's going to become what people would like him to become, some 6, 7 sack guy, and that's not even much in this day and age, considering for defensive tackles. But
Yeah.
I think he's a rotational guy. I think someone asked us a few days ago on the last show we did about that. He's a
Mhm.
rotational guy.
Yeah.
Like you may get a 2 sack game out of him, every 6 or 7 games because that's not what he's really out there to do. I think they also have a specific role for him too.
Yeah. Oh boy, because man, now I don't know if Kaminsky's coming back. I don't know if how soon Project Martin's coming back. But those two guys will matter. This is why I bring that up, Walt, because and you said something very interesting about James Houston, who ironically is back in the fold now. If this is
By
what's
default.
by default, right? So if they don't make a move, I mean, I'm just trying to get guys like that could maybe fill in and we can get by that type of thing. Like do something creative, maybe Jack Campbell. I was thinking maybe he could um, put some blitzes. I'm just trying to put it together. We need to make a trade. That's obvious. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not
Yeah,
bypassing that at all.
we
You
need
gotta
something. I don't know if it has to be
you got
Blockbuster. I
yeah.
know fans, we all salivate for Blockbuster, but Eric had a good comment. No excuse, Brad must make a call for Crosby, Reddick. Hell, even Jags for Josh Allen. You can't disguise it. Well, you know what? I
Josh
think
Allen.
Josh
Oh
Allen
yeah,
is interesting because
that's
Josh
my guy.
Allen just got a big deal.
He
Not
did.
the biggest deal,
They
but I
signed him
think
though.
but he's still young. And like when I talk to people about Josh Allen last all season, the
Mhm.
dude has been productive since day one
Yep.
for
Well,
Jacksonville.
we talked about him last year.
And he could
Maybe
play
coming
in
here.
multiple schemes. He can
Yep.
also play the run, but he's a premier pass rusher in this league, and he's still young
Hmm.
and he's still getting better. Like his play isn't trailing off. Now, that all could you can't trade for a team's player that doesn't want to trade that player.
Hmm.
I get that. What up, boy?
You
What
said.
up?
What up? Yeah, you can't trade for a player if a team doesn't want to get rid of that player. So we don't know. Jacksonville could fire their coach tomorrow morning
Yeah.
and decide you
Yeah.
get a pink slip and you get a pink slip. And you know
Yeah.
what, Josh? We about to blow this whole thing up.
Yeah. Because I
We
was
don't want
gonna
to
say.
move. We don't want to move. We love you as a player, but having a defensive end that makes as much money as you make isn't working for us quite right
Uh,
now. So we're gonna move on.
yeah.
Like, I think it's all a pipe dream, though.
Yep.
I don't
And
think Brad's trading for anybody. And if he does, it's going to be something extremely low key. It's not going to be anything blockbuster at all, man. But they do need another productive player in that front seven.
yeah, and then while we promise we're gonna do a show, promised everybody we're gonna do a show to maybe we could show some guys that could be available. I think Josh Allen's a perfect guy. I'm glad you brought him up. Jaguars 1-5. Listen, people become remember I say it all the time. People become available, bro. You know what I'm saying? Forget the money. The Lions are in good shape.
What if the
Contract.
Bengals become 1-5 tonight?
Yeah, Trey Hendrickson. That's a guy I got my eye on. Another guy that the Lions could get. Hassan Reddick. I don't know if he's a bad guy or not. It's just it's astonishing that
The
that
man won
he's
his money. The
that
Jets
he's
played him
not a.
wrong.
Of course, I'm just
Now, for
saying. It's
people who
just
say it's his fault,
yeah,
look how this organization just treated his head coach.
yeah,
So is it far fetched to believe they would conduct business with one of those players the way they did?
yeah,
The Jets are a joke, man.
yeah. Yep, I agree. I agree. And it's maybe like let's just say it may have to be it. Let's just say if we lost a couple games come moving forward, well, if we lose to Minnesota, Green Bay coming up, then and if they lose because of not being able to put pressure on the quarterback, then I think Brad might do something. But I think if they're doing it with next man up, our offense, you know what I'm saying, then they may have to go out and do something. But yeah, I agree. I mean, no, there's nothing wrong. To answer Corey's question here, nothing wrong with Reddick on his money. I'm just saying, like, because he's too good of a player not to be playing. That's why I question, like, it's got to be something else that the
I mean, at
reason
some
why he's
point
too
as a
talented not
player,
to play. It's
you got to
crazy.
stand up for something, though, as a player.
Yeah.
Because this whole idea of, and you hear fans say this all the time, do you hear some media people say it, well, is he just going to leave $21 million on the table? If I'm supposed to get 30 or 28 or 29, we don't even know what the number is that he was supposed to get from the Jets. At least he thought he was going to get from the Jets. You basically brought me here under the impression of, yeah, we ain't gonna pay you. So what you gonna do? You gonna hold out?
Hmm.
You gonna leave? You gonna go broke this season? You gonna leave $21 million on the table? We dare you.
Hmm.
And organizations play that chicken game with players too much. I'm not
Yeah.
mad at him at all, especially with the way the Jets played him. And then we see how the Jets just played their own head coach.
Yeah.
Nah, ain't nothing wrong with what Hassan Reddick did at all. I wouldn't play.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I mean, you got to get when you I always say this, whether regardless of whatever sport we playing, the four major sports. I mean, I'm always going to side with the player to get his money. You know what I'm saying? Because from the media, the marketing, jerseys, whatever. These players are the entity that keeps the organization going. If you ask me, they have the money, but you know what? We got the talent. We the ones that's going out on the field. We're the ones that's putting butts in the seats. We're the one that the networks are fighting over these games to call these games because of the players. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always gonna side with the player. You know what I mean? So for me, yeah, I mean, if they are winning the way it is, I think you're right. Well, I think Brad won't do nothing, but I think they'd have to start losing. I mean, to be honest with you, you know what I mean? Because right now we kind of don't have no margin for error right now because we are Minnesota's kind of in they're leading the division, obviously, what I'm saying, after 6 weeks of the season. But I mean, the Lions can afford to drop a couple games and it won't hurt them too much. But these division games are critical, man. Like next week's game's critical. The first one of the season. I think this is the first big game of the season for the Lions next week. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be interesting.
And what
I
is it,
believe
Tennessee after that, or is it
Yeah,
Green
I think
Bay?
it's Tennessee and Green Bay. I think the next I'll pull it up real quick.
I
Sorry I
think
don't
for
have it
them,
with.
man, like
Yep.
considering the amount of injuries that we suffering, it's best for them while they still have a pretty healthy roster and still have a nice mix of talent.
Hmm.
You must win all the games you're supposed to win. That means you don't mess around and jack off a game to Jacksonville. You don't lose to Tennessee.
Yeah.
You don't lose to the Colts. In all honesty, we're better than the Bears. I give the Bears a split because it's a divisional opponent, and the Bears seem to always play us tough anyway. And then
Hmm.
Caleb seems to be coming along pretty smoothly, and he's playing better over the
Yeah.
since week one. But in theory, we probably should sweep the Bears.
Yeah.
Like, win the games that you're supposed to win. Even Buffalo, we're better than Buffalo right now.
Yeah.
We should beat Buffalo.
Yeah. Next.
Just that leaves you some wiggle room to split with Green Bay. A split with Minnesota, a split with Chicago.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. The
even
next.
Frisco right now, we should beat Frisco.
Yeah. Yeah, because next 3 out of 4 games are on the road too as well. Well, 4 out of 5 you count this week, but yeah,
E Russ,
we got the Vikings, then we got Tennessee at home, then we play at Green Bay, and then at Houston. You know what I'm saying? So man, it's like you said, it's gonna be, let's just say,
we might
a
miss them
couple.
at Houston.
Yeah. Yep. We're gonna need Houston. We're gonna need all hands on deck against the Texans and the Packers. I think you're gonna have to get some pressure. That's the number one thing. I mean, some games, like you said, we could skate by not having an elite Aiden Hutchinson because I think we're good enough. We can beat the Titans without him. You know what I mean? The Vikings, that's a toss up to me. I think our offense is the one that's going to have to really be able to carry us if they score on us. But like I said, I'm not too worried about the Vikings offense like I was last year if they would have played because I think we got some coverage now. I think we can do some different things with the secondary and maybe get Sam Darnold to make some mistakes. So uh yeah, I mean man, it sucks. I mean, it's no way around it. And I think E said it best when we came on today. It's bittersweet, man, to play and win this game in the manner that we did, and then just have Hutch go down, man. It was like, it was just going too good to be true. You know what I'm saying? And then something like this happens, for him to have a broken fibia. I mean, that's automatically what, 6 month recovery time, something like that. So, uh, for me, like I said, I still believe that we still one of the best teams. But right now, the elephant in the room, I think Brad Holmes gonna be tired of answering this question until he does something. And Dan Campbell's probably gonna be tired of answering the question. Who are you gonna get to replace? And obviously they're gonna say, next man up, which is work. But
Well, they may
I don't
lie
know.
to us in the media and say they don't have plans on going to get anybody, but through the first 5 weeks of the season, you've lost 3 front 7 players. So
Yeah.
by default, you're gonna have to go out and find some kind of replacement. You done lost 3 players pretty much for the season within one grouping for the most part. So the question is, are there guys that, and I think as fans, we need to really focus on this while we're thinking about Brad Holmes going out and cherry picking players off other teams in the NFL. Who was on the practice roster right now? Even outside of who's on the practice roster right now, who was
Who?
on this team all off season? Linebacker, edge rusher, defensive lineman wise, who they will reach out to and bring back. Because I think more than anything else, they're gonna probably go out there and do that.
Mhm.
They like comfortability. This regime loves comfortability.
Yeah.
So I think before they go after somebody, fans got to realize too, it's too early for trades.
Yeah.
Teams still listen. There's too much parity in the league for teams to just surrender draft picks and
Yeah.
surrender
Right
players
now.
right now.
Yeah, it's too early.
Even
Right.
bad teams feel like you have bad teams in the league right now that are still like a game and a half out of first place in their own division.
Yeah. Yeah.
So teams aren't going to just trade with us whenever we feel like it either. You talking about week 8 when things start really starting to fall apart for a lot of teams. Some teams had a writing on the wall. Like the Cincinnati Bengals, the Bengals are running the risk of potentially being 1-5 at the end of the night.
Yeah. Yep. They up 7-0. Yeah, they desperate. They playing like a team desperate. But it was a good point what you said, Walt, because like you say, even teams like the Jets, the Dolphins, who play each other tomorrow, both teams 2-3. You know what I mean? They feel like they still, even if you lose and go to 2-4, is the season's technically not over yet. You know what I'm saying? So like you say, you're not gonna start wholesaling your team right now. You know what I mean? Because it's still just one quarter of the season's been played. So yeah, maybe talking maybe to begin like around Thanksgiving, you know what I'm saying? Maybe the end of November. I think the trade deadline is somewhere in there. Then that's when you'll be able to do something, you know what I mean, at that time. But yeah, I mean, overall, like I said, this game, I seen the W coming, a while back when I seen how Dallas just didn't have any running game the past 2 weeks. It wasn't hard for me to think that the Lions were going to win the game just because, you know,
Yeah, it's not
that
even being overconfident. It's just
yeah,
being.
it's not being
If I
arrogant
was
or
from
nothing. It's
Buffalo,
just
New York, and you asked me about this game, I would have had the same exact take.
of course, of course. Yeah. Because even like Rex Ryan, I think Rex Ryan was on record saying Cam Newton. I mean, guys that's not even part of Detroit media, they was like, listen, Detroit gonna win this thing just going away. You know what I mean? That
Because
type of
football
thing. So
people understand.
yeah.
Now you
Yeah.
heard what Brady said during the broadcast. The Lions pretty much play offense the way it's supposed to be played.
Yeah.
They play mainly under center. They do a power offense. They run consistent play action. They
Yeah.
stretch you horizontally. It's not about just dropping back and just pushing the ball vertically downfield. Like when our offense is humming along, we look unstoppable. And I'm just glad the last 2 games we've played well offensively in the second half of both games.
Yeah.
Now the
Yeah.
defense started kind of rough tonight, but at the end of the day, Dallas could do nothing. And
Yeah.
they just refuse. These teams that refuse to run the football stand no chance. And it's not
Yeah.
about, like I said, us being Lions homers or being overconfident. I tried to kind of scale back my confidence in this game. I had 34-24, but at the end of the day, I just saw no outlet for Dallas to really have success, offensively or defensively, against us right now, especially considering what other teams did to them, early in
Yeah.
the season, even last season. It
Yeah.
was just our time right now. We're just ahead of Dallas. But I still picked Dallas to win that division. And they still could win the division. They what? Ain't they tied for first right now?
Yeah. Well,
Or second?
the Commanders are 4-2. They lost to Baltimore
Yeah, they lost to
4-2. The
Baltimore
Eagles
today.
3-2. Now Cowboys 3-3. And the Giants playing right now. So if the Giants win, them and the Cowboys, the Eagles all have 3 wins. And the Commander, like you said,
Yeah.
right? They only got 4 wins. So like you said, even the Cowboys are still in it. For that division. So I just wanted to point out something too, Walt, before we get out of here. The Lions and Vikings next week will be playing points against this season. The Vikings got the number 1 defense in the NFC at 76 points given up. Guess who team number 2 is? Detroit Lions. 91
Yep.
points against in 5 games. It's gonna be a hell of a game
They stopping
already.
the run too.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Yep.
fun, man, because Minnesota,
Yep.
Brian Flores ain't no joke out there. He's a
Yeah.
hard-nosed, old school defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
He's very bright at what he does coverage wise. His team stopped the run, and them boys right there, they coming to stop the run. They know.
Yeah.
I think they know exactly what Detroit's coming to Minnesota to do offensively, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna accept the challenge, man. This is gonna be a hell of a game.
It's gonna
I
be a
don't think it's
great
gonna be a
game.
blowout either way. I think it's gonna be
No,
one hell of a game.
it's gonna be a hell of a game. And I don't even know if it's gonna
Can they
be an
flex
over
us?
game. Huh?
Can they flex us?
Well, right now
What's next Sunday's game? Sunday
it's
night game.
It's next Sunday night's game is a good question. Oh man, I wish I had it right in front of me. Damn it.
No, we got plenty of time. Or
Yeah,
somebody will post it for us.
yeah. But I was thinking that too. Good question. But I think the Lions and the Vikings are 1 o'clock. So I don't think you can't flex a 1 o'clock game if I'm not mistaken. So
Okay.
yeah, it's a Fox 1 o'clock game next Sunday against the Vikings. Like you said, if it was 4:25 like today, then they probably would have. Like next Sunday, it's the Panthers and the command. No, Jets and Steelers next Sunday
Oh
night.
yeah.
Yeah,
They would have definitely bumped them boys out.
yeah, yep, yep. But if Chiefs and 49ers playing too next Sunday, that's Fox game of the week next week. Gonna be Chiefs and Niners. So yeah, man, it's I like what I say. We had to just put a bow on this show tonight, Walt. Regardless of the Aiden Hutchinson, injury. I think it's safe to say the Lions were in control of this game, man, and they just beat this team down. You know what I'm saying? And it's just good to see that these guys are focused after a bye. Like you said, that was another thing you mentioned. That was a good work by you talking about the third quarter because this team, you know, has
Have they turned the
lulls.
corner?
Yeah, right, right.
Yeah.
And I think the offense looked more crisper. I think everything is right, man, with this team. You know what I mean? Regardless of, the injury. So, like I say, obviously, we're gonna have the rest of the season. We're gonna be talking about, the missing hole of Aiden Hutchinson. You know what I'm saying? It's just that's gonna be one of the talking points all season. For Detroit media and for us. You know what I mean? And these next 3-4 games gonna be fun. Well, I mean, like you said, this the season right here, man. These next 4 or 5 games because it was, it's gonna be, the Lions. We know we are. We know if we do what we set out to do, is very few teams that can beat the Lions. Period. You know what I'm saying? That Houston game gonna be interesting because I don't know. I know they talented as hell. I know CJ Stroud is one of my favorite players to watch right now. Will Anderson, one of my favorite players to watch. But I don't know. Are they that fit? Is it a facade? Are they that physical like that, like us? I mean, I don't know if they are. I don't know if Texans is physical. We know they're good, but are the Lions are physical? Are you going to be able to match that to beat the Lions? I don't know if the Texans are
Man,
yet.
that
You know what
goes
I'm saying?
back to what I was saying earlier in the show. There's very few teams in the NFL right now that's gonna match us like that. Most of these offensive coordinators, they want to throw the football a lot. And typically, the more you throw the football, the softer it makes you as a team offensively. The softer it makes your offensive line. You ask any offensive lineman, they would rather run block all day.
Yeah.
I told
Right.
you that's a secret to the NFL that the Lions know. I think all offensive coordinators, they understand it, they know it, they understand it, but the Lions actually stick to it. Like defensive linemen don't like to be leaned on. They would
Yeah.
much rather pass rush.
Yeah.
if I lean on you consistently and nobody's staying when usually when you say the Lions need to stick to the run, people think, oh, you're not going to just run the ball 48 straight times. We're not saying that, but there should still be a balance. I still feel like offensively, you should be consistently, unless the game gets completely away from you. And even if
Mhm.
the game offensively gets away from you, you can still find ways to keep the running game incorporated
Yeah.
out of the backfield. But
Yeah.
you need to be running the ball, I still think, between 25 to 32 times a game. You
Yeah.
find ways to do it, and you find ways to keep it involved in the game plan. The Lions do that. The Kansas City Chiefs do that. There aren't
Yeah.
really too many teams in the league that still do that. And I believe that's why we're still having the success we're having. But like you said, man, great win. A little unexpected for me. Lions covered those 3 points for sure. The over went over that 52 and a half. And like I said, they put out an effort we hadn't seen in 4 years. This was, you and I both agree, this
Mhm.
was the best effort we've seen from this team, this coaching staff, this organization in the 3 years and 5 games we've seen from them. It was refreshing.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, Aiden's gone pretty much for a minute. Now moving forward, we got to figure out how do we continuously find ways to generate pass rush. And who do we go out there and we find that's on the free agent market? So, all right, man, we covered the game tonight. We'll still be back tomorrow night. I'm pretty sure there'll be plenty of news to get to.
Yeah.
You got the pressers going on tomorrow. We'll know a whole lot more about the Aiden Hutchinson injury or whatnot. Anybody else that got nicked up, how it may be. We know Carlton Davis got kicked in the head and
Mhm.
all this other stuff. It's not funny, but to say it the way I said it, man,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't mean to
Yeah.
put it out like
Yeah.
that.
He had a cleat to the forehead. Like, yeah, that was
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, but Carlton Davis tough too. He ain't the best. He take a lot of flack right now in
Mhm.
the city. He's better than Cam Sutton
Yeah, for
because
sure.
because Carlton Davis he'll give up a play, but he always bounce back with some sort of vital play. And I think that's kind of what our secondary is. Terrion Arnold too.
Very hard. Bulldog, man. Love what I see.
Got a
Fumble
bunch of
recovery.
competitors. Rake
Yeah.
Straw was out
Great
there foot
straw.
for foot
Yeah,
with
land
CD
landed
Lamb.
with us. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, all right, we out
Tomorrow
of here
night.
tonight. We got Cincinnati Bengals, New York Giants tonight. Everybody kick back, watch this football. We'll be back tomorrow night with a whole bunch of information for y'all. One Pride.